that accrue from poor management of our environment. We're seeing what is happening in Canada, and I earlier told you that is not very far from us should we continue being reluctant and misbehaving when it comes to environment protection. Well, welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda, and this time round we are going to be looking at Kampala Capital City Authority and how they are moving through this time of the pandemic, of course what we expect from them and what have they so far done in this direction. There are some things that I love about KCCA, and this is first and foremost their mission statement, which is to deliver quality services to the city. Now with me, I have the acting public relations manager, that is Daniel Niwabine, with whom we are going to be going through and see if really they are delivering quality services to the city. Now their vision is equally interesting, and of course are expressing commitment to Ugandans. That is to be a vibrant, attractive and sustainable city. That is their vision, and their mission is regarding quality. Daniel, you're most welcome to our studios once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being here.
I must say, is this more taxing time, or equally are we seeing KCCA having less on their plate to deliver to Ugandans?
Well, KCCA, first of all, I would like to bring greetings from my executive director, that is the head of the technical wing, and his deputy, that is Madam Chisaka and David Limbazi, respectively, as well as the political wing, who also govern the city and mobilize the people politically to ensure we have that vibrant and attractive city. Well, it's not a tough time per se, but it's a challenging time. We are at less than half capacity. We're at about 10% right now, as per the presidential directives. We must offer the same services, same quality services to the people of Kampala as we are at full capacity.
Maybe for ease communication, since we've social distanced, you may excuse yourself of the mask.
But I appeal to everyone out there to maintain the mask.
To maintain the mask, yes.
Because it is the closest lockdown that can stop the spread of corona. I'm so used to the mask that even when I'm at home, I only remember when I'm putting a fork onto the mouth that there is a mask. But well, we are at 10% right now, yet we still have to maintain the same standard of service delivery to the city. And the needs of the people, of the population, are equally as much. We are going through a pandemic. We have a vaccination exercise to do. We have people in the markets. We have roads and drainages to construct. We have people who are making applications to the city. We have even those who are very diligent and want to pay their taxes. And the service demands of the people have not gone down. We must match them, and I will not say that it's a hard time, because we are designed for the hard times. But one thing for sure is that it's challenging, but we are determined to sail through it.
And deliver quality services to the city dwellers and those that make ends meet within Kampala. Let's begin with the issue of vaccination. This commenced in Kampala, that was on Monday. And there was so much, we had huge turn-ups. Somewhere, maybe human resource was not that sufficient to match with the turn-up, and so much. And we know KCCA in Kampala is at the forefront of this exercise, working with Ministry of Health, definitely. How are you handling the situation, and how is the exercise moving on so far?
Well, the vaccination exercise was set to start on Monday, and indeed started on Monday up to Friday. And in here, those taking the second jab, as well as the frontline workers who had not gotten the jab, are to be vaccinated. Now, this is a government intervention that is to save lives. And the government is working through the Ministry of Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs to ensure that these services are done. In Kampala, that is the KCC jurisdiction, we have a number of points that were set up across the 5 divisions, and all these are conducting the immunization exercise. Well, on Monday we had a little glitch because it was the first day, and the movement of health workers had gotten a little bit challenging. But we had a little chat with the security agencies to allow our health workers move. We had to properly identify them, and by about 10 o'clock, we had started immunization or vaccination at all our centers. And thereafter, from Tuesday, I'm sure till today, because they're about to start vaccination, we have been going on smoothly.
Talking about the period, this our viewer must get clearly. You began on Monday, you'll be winding up on Friday. Will this we're seeing even up to today, I know of some centers, I received information that people are already turning up in huge numbers. Will you, with the given human resource you've talked about, will you be able to satisfy these numbers in terms of turn up by Friday?
Yes, sure. Our teams are all committed. Our staff have been gotten into the philosophy of the executive director, and that is leading at the front. We, as the people who are leading Kampala, we are leading at the front. Our commitment should be much more than that of those we are leading, those we are serving. So the entire team is committed to delivering vaccination. The entire team is committed to ensuring that we fight the disease, because if we don't fight it from amongst the community by doing our part, that is ensuring that we vaccinate, then we are also in danger. So we are committed to ensuring that we deliver the quality service, we get to work at the time when we're supposed to be there, and ensure that the people of Kampala are vaccinated.
I love the commitment, but also there's another issue still on vaccination, is these long queues. I was at Kiswa.
Yes.
And one thing I noticed, sometimes they deter some people maybe to turn up. When one goes to this immunization center and the line is like from our studios to the gate. So how are you devising ways to ensure that we have lesser queues or people are attended to as soon as possible, despite you working with a low capacity in terms of human resource?
Well, we have a number of centers within a division. And these centers are strategically located to make sure people don't move long distances and converge at a single point. Now what we do, once we popularize these centers, like we have extremely popularized them, people go to the nearer centers. For these centers, for example, what happened in Kiswa, we had a number of people there, a number of private companies that wanted to take second jobs. So they brought in most of their staff almost at a go. Okay. But like I said, the commitment of our staff is at its highest, and we therefore man these numbers so quickly, such that within an hour, usually the numbers are done.
I know this may be more for Ministry of Health, but I also want to bring it to your attention and see if also theft of these drugs and also ensuring that people get exactly what they should be getting. Police is investigating circumstances. We saw what happened in Nakawa, where about maybe 800 persons could have been injected with water or something else, and fake vaccines or duplication. How safe are these vaccines that Ugandans are taking in terms of being in your custody and them getting the right vaccine?
Well, fortunately, the situation is under investigation. But I would like to be very clear on this. I trust my government. I trust the government of the Republic of Uganda, because it's the same government that vaccinated us against whooping cough. It's the same government that vaccinated us against measles, diphtheria, tuberculosis, tetanus. Now we have the rotavirus, the pneumococcal. It's the same government that vaccinated us against all these. And I trust that since it was successful and it was for the will of the people, and for the good of the population. It is the same thing with the COVID-19 vaccine. I don't expect the government to give up its army, to give up its teachers, to give up its health workers. I trust in my government, and I appeal to everyone out there to have the same trust for this government, because we have gone through these different phases of immunization, and we have been successful. When we were in primary school and later secondary school, which we attended together in Ndeje, though you were a few classes below
one, then senior 5.
We used to have children in our plays who were acting lame,
yes,
to cater for the vulnerable group by then of people who had polio. But now in all the school plays, you'll not find someone who is lame in the cast, meaning that the government was successful in that. And I appeal to the people of Kampala, to the people of Uganda, let's trust our government. This vaccination is for the good of the country, for the good of each one of us, such that we don't die of COVID.
Well, as we move away yet to another area regarding the pandemic and how KCCA is positioned to deliver services and improve the livelihood of Ugandans despite this trying moment, we just want to urge every Ugandan, please only get vaccination at these government designated centers. Get vaccination at designated centers. There's no one who is going to be hawkering this vaccine.
And I can re-echo the centers that we have. I can re-echo some of the centers that we have, and these include at the center, that is at City Hall, we have a center. We have in Central Division. Central Division, we have Chisenyi Health Center. That's a health center for. We have City Hall Clinic. We have Bat Valley. We have Kamocha Catholic Church. We have Nachivubo Blue Primary School. We have Old Kampala Hospital. We have Chitante Primary School. We have Kololo Airstrip. Now all these are wide spaces where people can go. In Lubaga Division, we have Chitebi Health Center 3. We have Kawala Health Center. We have Namirembe Infants. We have Queen of Peace Primary School. We have Natete Muslim Primary School. We have Chigobe Primary School. We have YMCA Secondary School in Lubaga Division. Now in Nakawa, we have what you talked about, Kiswa Health Center 3. We have Butabika Hospital. We have Mbuya Military Health Center. We have Kulambiro Church of Uganda. We have Nakawa Division Offices just behind the market. We have Chambogo University Medical Center. We have Chitawuruzi Community Hall. In Machinji Division, we have Nsambia, Gogonya, Kukasawe. We have St. Posiano Church of Uganda. We have Gaba Model Primary School. We have Kamanyi Seed School. We have Victory Church, Wabigalo. We have Lukuri, Kukasawe. We have Karios Primary School and Katwe Primary School. Kawempe, we've talked of Kawempe. Kawempe is the last one. That is at Kawempe Division Offices, Makerere Yellow Primary School, Chifumbira Community Hall, St. Peter's Kanyanya, Mulago Hospital, St. Martin Primary School, Koma Mbuga Health Center, and Kawempe Hospital. Now, if you look at the positioning or the location of all these centers, they are cut across the parishes. Therefore, people can go to the closest ones, and we appeal to the population in all these divisions to go to those centers and get vaccinated. Get vaccinated, let's save your life.
Actually, the vaccination exercise has been brought closer to you. These are walkable distances if you look at how they have distributed them in each of the 5 divisions. Away from vaccination exercise, let's now look at another issue of concern at such a time. This is the aid that is going to be given, that is to the vulnerable groups, and this is via mobile money. Now, this has raised a lot of concerns. Yesterday, we saw the political wing of it, looking at both the amount, then the method that is going to be used. KCCA at the forefront of this exercise in terms of identifying how these vulnerable categories that were listed will benefit. How are you going to work on this selection? Who is vulnerable? How do you identify them to qualify for this money under the categories listed?
Well, the issue of the money and the amount, that we shall leave to our leaders
Definitely, yes,
to determine. But ours is, whatever is determined, how does it get to the targeted group? Now, our leaders, the government of Uganda, has identified a number of categories of businesses that are bound or are prone to have been most affected by the pandemic. And this is based on the subsistence nature of the work they do. Not subsistence of the village area, where it's subsistence agriculture, but these are in subsistence trade or subsistence service provision, like bars, and the people who work there, the bouncers, gyms, the restaurants, the taxi parks, and the operators in those taxi parks, not necessarily the drivers or the owners of the taxis, but the touts, the people who work around the entire infrastructure of the taxi industry, the borders, the private schools, the slum dwellers, our ghetto brothers and sisters. These provide labor to
earning daily.
Earning daily, that is a subsistence earning. Now, whereas as KCCA, we have sets of data, because we administer the city, we administer Kampala. Therefore, we have data sets that are already with us. For example, we can identify all the formal bars in the city. We have the data on every bar that is operating in the city. We have the data on all restaurants operating in the city. We have the data of all gyms, members clubs, and saunas. But we may not have the data of the people employed in there. But as KCCA, we have a starting point. For the private schools, we have all the data because of our Directorate of Education and Social Services. We have the data on the private schools and those that work in there. But
Daniel, do you think the data you're having is sufficient enough to cater first? Let's even look at restaurants. There could be so many restaurants. I believe that maybe you've not captured. There could be many schools, sometimes even the Ministry of Education is shocked when they are closing schools that have been in existence for the last maybe 5 years, but they're not captured anywhere.
But primarily as a city administration, we have a starting point.
Okay.
If there are 100 restaurants, I believe we have 90% of them registered. Now, that is a starting point. Now, we have data from previous exercises, government intervention exercises. For example, the food distribution in the city. Now, during food distribution, that was about March and April last year, we went house to house distributing food. So we kept a record of all those that benefited from this. Now, with the data sets we have of the affected businesses, the data sets we have of those that benefited from the food distribution, we have a starting point. Now, here we can use the LOC structure or the political structure to verify. We get Kawempe division, get the parish, Bwaise 1, and get these two lists. Take them out to the community, to the leaders. But of course, we have to mind social distancing and all that. So we deal with the leaders. They look through the food distribution list. Who are these vulnerable? Where were they working? Then we look at the business licenses in Bwaise too. Are these part of the bars? I was working in a bar. Which bar? Karaoke 1 or Karaoke 24/7 bar and restaurant. Then we match these. Now, that is a starting point.
This looks like a tedious process. Then
No.
will the relief arrive in
No.
stipulated time? How are you going to expedite the process?
We have already started on it. Yesterday, the town clerks met. After the directive from the Prime Minister, the town clerks met yesterday. This data is going to be verified. It is going to be sent down to work with the political leaders. It's going to, we are going to verify through the LOC system, see those who are still in these areas, those who have left the areas, those who have unfortunately passed on, and within 2 days or 3, through the LOC system, through the structure. Remember, we have town clerks, we have ward administrators, we have community development officers and agenda. Now, we also have the LOC3, we have the parishes, we have the LOC2 and the LOC1. Through this government structure and through the KCCS structure, as well as the oversight of the security apparatus, we shall come up with a list, and within the stipulated days, we shall be up and running.
Now, this poses confusion. Yesterday, I saw the political wing of KCCA, led by the Lord Mayor, saying that KCCA is looking at using workplace and membership organizations, and they were pushing for local councils to be the lead agencies here because they know people more, they stay amongst them. Where is the mismatch?
Well, his worship may have an alternative view, but there's a government view. Now, I would prefer that goes through the political channel because he has his views on how much and how. Government has a mandate of the people at the moment, and therefore those the views that he has, he can address them or channel them through those channels. But at the moment, as a public servant, as an implementer of government policy, we are going with the directive of government, which we believe is the right direction because the people decided that the government today shall take the forefront and the mandate to think and come up with solutions for them. So any other opinions, any other suggestions can go through the right channel.
Still, before we leave relief aid for the people of Kampala, of course we know that when we look at vulnerable groups, majority of the categories listed are still city dwellers, that is Kampala Metropolitan, Kampala, Wachiso, where we see that this aid will go to that. I don't see much of car washers in Masaka, then also that. So they're looking at that. So, but there is a question of transparency. One, in the moments of selection, transparency. And we know you are just more so in identifying and then handing over a list maybe to the Ministry of Finance and how this is going to be done. But there is still much a doubt in how transparent this process is going to be in Wabine, and how really you're going to identify the very vulnerable people and not manipulate lists, not have a ghost people receive these monies, people claiming to be in these categories, yet they do not qualify.
I believe that the teams we have are more dedicated than ever before.
Okay.
And we all believe that whoever is in this exercise knows that it's a matter of life and death. You don't play around with money for the vulnerable. At least that's what we were taught as we were growing up. And at least these are the values that we have cherished and have carried us to where we are. I believe that through our LOC system, through the provisions that have been made by the Prime Minister, through the pronouncements of mobile money, middlemen are going to be cut out. Even those without phones will get vouchers. So it is the individual to get their money on their phone. So government coming out and cutting out middlemen, no carrying of cash for one to say that I was hit by a car and the money flew away or people took the money away from me. No. The money is going to be transferred to someone's phone. If he doesn't have a phone, the voucher is going to be given to that vulnerable person. So I believe the mechanisms that have been put in place foster transparency and, in the end, accountability.
Let's look at other forms of relief as KCCA that you're taking to the public. Recently, we saw women in markets receive mosquito nets because, at such a time, some have chosen to reside or camp in these markets for these days. What other initiatives are you having for the people of Kampala to know how best they can benefit from them at this time?
Well, there are those organized groups and there are those vulnerable of the vulnerable. I'll start with the marketplace, the workspace. Now, markets are key because it's where we get food. Even when things are tough, at least Uganda is blessed that we shall have food. So everybody can access food. But without moving those people in the markets, His Excellency directed and guided that some of these should stay there and sleep in the markets. So to avoid other diseases like malaria, we had to take in mosquito nets for safety and for the health of those who are going to stay in the markets. Our brothers and sisters, our mothers, our aunties who are staying within the markets, and also beef up the security. In some markets, for example, Usafi market, we have expanded where they are operating from so as to ensure a social distance. We have extended the market into the parking area of the taxi park, Usafi Park, such that we have a social distance. Now we're doing this for the period of the lockdown. So you'll find that Usafi market is more expanded. In St. Bari Kudembe, they have moved into the area where they were selling clothes. And all the other markets, provisions have been made to ensure that we maintain the social distance, safety is there, we have sufficient light, we have sufficient water, we collect the garbage that is generated therein on time, the sanitation is top-notch, to make sure that whoever is in there, their livelihoods are safe, and they are safe. No other opportunistic diseases shall come up. Then we have the other vulnerable groups, for example, the street-associated children and people. Now, every Ugandan deserves a good life, and every Ugandan must have a good life. What we are doing for the marketplace, we must do something for our children, our brothers, our sisters who are associated with the streets. Many people vulgarize it for street children. But we have so many of these children coming up because of domestic violence, because of orphaned families, because of several issues that bring children onto the streets. But they are there. Now, at KCCA, we have gotten a step further and responded to the directive of the president, as well as the identification of the vulnerables. And yesterday, working with our mayor of Central Division, His Worship Salimu Uhuru, KCCA's Gender Directorate went out to all the streets. We mobilized and made sure all these children are brought to Nachivubo Blue. Now, by yesterday, we had 152 children there.
That would be very little of a number.
Oh, they're not quite many, because we have children that had come from the northeastern part, from the Karamoja corridor. Those had been resettled back in Napak, so we had a few left. Now, these are unguided. The other children that are coming that were resettled in Napak were guided. Those had mothers, had fathers who were moving with them on the streets. But now these are unguided. They are there on their own. Now, these we got and went to Nachivubo Blue, and while here, they are going to be tested. They were tested.
For COVID?
They were tested for COVID-19. We're waiting for the results within the next one day. That is today, probably tomorrow we shall have the results. Those that are found to be negative shall be taken for skilling and training at Kazi Scouts Camp. We thank our partners, the Uganda Scouts Association and many others I'm going to mention. They will be taken for skilling and teaching of soft skills, as well as harnessing their talent. Some of them are good at soccer, some of them are good at chess, once trained, but they will also give them hand skills, tailoring, candle making, soap making, all these soft skills that make them productive in life. Now there are those that may turn out positive. Those shall be retained at Nachivo Blue and they shall be treated from there. Now for the younger ones and some of those whom we can reunite with the families, our probation officers, our youth and children officers are getting in contact, are establishing their families, and efforts to reunite them are underway. But I would like to thank our partners, some of our partners that have really done a great job to ensure that this job is done well. We have Children at Risk Network, we have RETRAC, we have Dwelling Places, we have Havana Ministries, we have Mengo Youth Development Link, we have Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, we have the Uganda Scouts Association, we have African Hearts, Help Africa, Islam Cares, Kawempe Youth Development Association, and Save Street Children Uganda. We thank you so much, and let me use this opportunity also to appeal to everyone out there. If you have clothes, if you have an extra money, if you have food, if you have a cap, if you have shoes, if you have a sweater, let's get all these things. Let's get everything we can get and support the street children. Let's take these things to Nachivubo Blue and we support these children. They're part of us. They're Ugandans, and who knows?
But Daniel, as we call for the support, I want to first of all commend Kese. This is a timely activity in a time when streets are not that lucrative for these children, because the challenge has always been they know we are making money on the streets. Now that there's a lockdown, maybe you'll be able to retain some. But we remember at one time Kese came out that you had a couple of homes within Kampala that are going to be keeping these children. I remember by then it was Honorable Florence Nachiwala Chiyinji who said, we've received the funds and we are setting up homes. I think she even said we have about 80 plus homes now where these children are going to be kept. How far has this, or what is the situation?
Well, we have some homes. We support private NGOs with homes. But the numbers of the street-associated children had come down because of the rigorous action by KCCA to ensure we have families reunited, others resettled, and the skilling that has been taking place. This has been going on, and some of them have gotten into economic activities. For example, most of them have been taking out the bottles for recycling. Some of them are under the scrap, the people taking out scrap, but also in most of our remand homes and most of the homes that are within the city, these are actually there, and several of them have graduated from there and moved and gotten into society. Several of them have gotten into society. These homes are there. Yes, we need more funding for them, but the effort is there and it's ongoing.
Well, the effort is there, it is ongoing. This is a time where we should give a helping hand. In every way you can, an act of kindness is never wasted, however small it is. When we stand with the street children, when you stand with your neighbor, maybe you have plenty of food, please contribute, help them. Life is not very easy for a number of people, most of the vulnerable people need our support. Daniel, time is not so much on our side. Let me have your final remarks regarding hope to people in Kampala as the body mandated to deliver quality services at such a time.
Well, the hope is that Kampala is growing, and we believe we are going to have a smart city. Because even in the lockdown, We have a lot of work that is taking place. We have infrastructure developments going on.
So much construction.
We have the Nakamiro Rubiji and construction that will save the drainage issues and the water flooding. We have the Nakawantinda, marvelous road. The road is marvelous. It's going to be a very good road. We have the Rukuri. We have
Tula, Nanganda. Very
it's a perfect road. We have Kabusu Bundamwaya, Turueza. We have Tuba, Bulavira, up to Kungu that is going to be made. We have the Nigeria link. We have all these works that are going on. And even within the city, if you look around, we are desilting and opening up all the drains. So work is going on. But let's follow the government directives. Our city should be vibrant again. And the only way it will be vibrant is by us following the SOPs and keeping alive, controlling and, where possible, eliminating COVID-19. Let's follow the SOPs. Let's follow the government set guidelines. Let's keep at home. Let's keep at home. Let's not move when it's not necessary. We have provided on our website and on several social media platforms numbers you can call to the several markets around the city for food to be delivered to your place. Let's follow the government guidelines, curb the spread of COVID-19, and we shall have a vibrant city once again.
Thank you so much, Daniel Niwabine, that is acting PRO or spokesperson of Kampala Capital City Authority, for having found time and given us this rich information regarding the efforts by KCCA to ensure that you are safe through this time. Let's embrace vaccination. Please, if you got your first jab, go and get the second jab in recommended centers. There is no one hawkering this. Don't listen to people who claim we have the vaccine, we can come and vaccinate your workers, your employees. Please stick to only gazetted, designated places for you to have this vaccination. And also, let's stay safe. Together, we can flatten the curve if only we abide by the standard operating procedures that are given to ensure we fight the spread of this disease. Have a lovely day. I'll leave you with Ruben to take you to the world of sports. Then Jagana will be here with Good Morning Uganda Extra till tomorrow. Same time. God bless you.